Okay.
Now, listen, right off the bat, Susan's got family. You never know with her, so we'll just see if she pops in or not. But
Right. The other thing is too, we're all on phones. Well, Bob might be on the computer, but we don't have our computer, so you're not seeing us out in space and all the
right,
cool things that we have. But Bob, I'm going to say just three words to you: Hall of Fame.
listen,
How was
number three. I mean, so
yes,
folks, so here we go, guys. So we got the Hall of Fame day, and it was yesterday, California
yeah,
Hall of Fame, and we're all taking off from where we are to get to California. It was the most insane migration any of us ever did. Odd times. We had to leave early last night. Hope, the night Sunday, and John had a red eye back. But it was a great, great night, you guys, and bigger than we ever expected. People
yeah.
everywhere, and right off the bat. And then Paul, you can talk about something, but I got to say one thing. I'm sorry for anybody I didn't touch base with, didn't see anybody. They kept the groups kind of organized backstage, away from the
Yeah.
audience,
Yeah.
and this show was going to go, and you weren't going to interact till the end anyway.
We were told to be quiet. I mean, I don't have enough fingers and toes to count how many times you, Bob, and Susan and me were told to be quiet.
While we were backstage,
Yeah, yeah.
you know how we do on Happy Together, everyone. We watch from the side, and so Johnny Boy's with us, so he's going to do it too. So
Yes,
now you got
yeah.
four of us. It's not like we act up; we're just animated. And so the stage manager, she kept looking at us like we're the kids, you know. Shh, quiet,
Yeah,
quiet.
yeah.
Of course, she's going to say eventually, get out there and insert some life into this thing. So we're going to get both.
Yeah, she became our friend. She was a Mr. Flynn and then became, a much nicer person. And that so boy, so many people there. Ron, Dante. Well, no, but I did want to say one thing first, though. Man, John was with us, and
Johnny
you
Boy,
guys
yeah,
out. It was great.
yeah.
It was the best hang ever, and it was really nice to be able to hear that high harmony and "I Love the Flower Girl" in the chorus. Man, all of a sudden I'm hearing that and I'm thinking, well, who the hell's doing? Because we're not used to that. And there it was, John down the other end. It was great, man, and we just had a ball with him,
And
and
look,
and
he came in from Brooklyn for this,
that's
guys.
what I was going to say, man.
Okay,
He did
New
what
York,
you did.
yeah.
John came in especially for this, and then had to get out of Dodge. And I do, Bob, also want to apologize to all the people there that I I'll let the audience know. I did an Irish goodbye, and I did a real. We all did it, but I did a hard Irish goodbye, and I was just going up to the guys as I was huddled over with my hoodie, like I'd just been arrested, and I'm trying to
Now,
hide my trying to hide who I am. And I
I
stopped
did,
behind him.
Paul.
Well, okay,
He
huh?
did run by me and said, meet you at the car.
You did the car.
I said, what? And the whole thing that drove it, everybody, was actually John's red eye. He had to get back to New York. And here's the thing during the show, and you guys know award shows, it was kind of bogging down right out of the gate, right? A little going long, and it's going to go
Yep.
longer, award shows. And so we had John's flight in mind. And I got to hand it to Captola and the people there who were running the thing. They actually had to move us up in the order of the show to make sure we can get to these airplanes that we had to. Because guys, Paul just blew in from Oregon, me from Texas, John from New York, Susan from New
Yeah.
Orleans. This is what the four of us did for this. But what you don't know is all of us had to get back to Oregon, get back to New York, get back to New York, get back to Texas. So it's an insane day. It was crazy. So we get there, and the first thing we see John and Will out by the car. And there's John, who's got longer hair than all of us, of course. And so he's hard to miss. And he's waving, and we're waving him. And so we hook up right outside. The first hookup was very cool. And his son Will was there, his girlfriend Gus, and it was really a fun reunion right off the top. Right off the
Yeah,
top.
yeah. Well, it was funny because when I was doing the Irish goodbye, John was the first one I hit, and I'm thinking, man, John's going to hold on to my belt and follow me out, right? That's John.
Yeah.
And nope, man, I went by to him and I said, headed to the car, John, headed to the car. He goes, well, wait a minute. No, I mean, I've got these people, and it was kind of
Yeah.
interesting. I was kind of being him, and he was kind of being me.
accommodating the fans, but you got to go. And
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
yeah,
And John was funny during the night here. So during the night, guys, we kind of move as a threesome. Everyone knows that. We kind of
yeah,
move in like a group, right?
yeah.
And John, in the beginning, he just couldn't keep up with us. So we're in our dressing room, like, where's John? Where's John? A lot of it was, where's John? And then I go out and John, we go, I'd find him. He go, where did you go? Where did you go? I said, John, you got to stay tight, man. We move through these
Yeah.
things. So that was a kind of funny thing to redo some of those relationship issues with brothers, that it's like he can't find us. and,
Yeah, that
and
was
and
funny.
I'm thinking, I hope he doesn't think we're ditching him, like
Right, right.
playing a joke on him or something. But Ron Dante was there. There was a big surprise during the night for us, for me personally, big time in terms of people we're going to meet who we aren't going to expect to meet, who we definitely wouldn't expect liked us. But this guy not only liked us, he watched our documentary, he searched us out to see us, to meet
Oh,
us.
I know.
I know Paul knows who I'm talking about, and it's
Frank,
Frank Stallone. It's
Frank
like,
Stallone.
and I'm going like, I want to go, Frank. You know who we are. You know how dumb we are.
Right,
I
right.
love you guys. I love you guys. I watched your documentary, and he wants to be on our podcast. People, we're going to meet Frank Stallone on the podcast.
Hey, Bob,
Hmm.
but we didn't know Frank before. We had never met Frank Stallone. What brother then do we know whose brother was a famous crooner? Uh,
Well, who is that? No, we
okay, but
never
it's not
knew.
Frank.
No, it's not Frank because
Oh, okay. So
now
okay.
we don't know Frank's history, because
Um,
with when Frank said, "I want to come on your podcast," and you're just thinking, not, I don't want Frank, I want Sly. You're thinking we have brothers. We have brothers here, is what I'm
right.
thinking. And so I didn't say it, but I want to go, Frank, how are you and Sly? How are you with your bro, man? Would he come in and the brothers come on and you can talk to
Yeah,
us brothers and our sister? I didn't want to go there because I know we can look them up and see how it ended up. I think there was
yeah.
a time they weren't, decades ago, getting along, or he was famous and he isn't. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Well, but you know what? But by you might saying it like, asking about Sly, it's kind of like if you remember, like we would be talking, getting something going, and then everybody would want to make sure, well, the little girl is with you though, right?
Yeah, right. You're not going to Osmond us, are you? Because Marie wasn't in the Osmonds yet. But
Yeah.
no, it
So,
was. But I do have a memory. Susan had this memory actually. She talked about it that decades ago, Frank and our brother Richard were on the Howard Stern show, kind of with the story being the brothers that are kind of over here and not in the thick of it.
right.
But you're talking
Oh,
the 70s and the 80s. I don't know, a long time ago.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure everybody loves everybody again. I hope so,
Are you
because
sure of that?
we're going to look it up. We're going to, and if they haven't reconciled, I want to do a Frank Stallone podcast episode without ever mentioning Sly.
Man, let's
If
do
he
that.
mentions him, fine, but we'll make like he's just a brother. We're going to pretend, oh, yeah, your brother Sly, right? We know about him, and just
Yeah.
play it. It'll be a lot of fun if we do
And
that.
what does Frank do?
We're going to have to look it up. I think
Oh,
he's
okay.
maybe he's an actor and everything. I think,
Gotcha.
or was it Belushi? Oh, Belushi's brother became a pretty good actor. Remember Jim?
Oh,
John
yeah,
Belushi was
for sure, for sure.
Jim was the brother. You
Well,
know,
Frank Stallone certainly looked like an actor.
oh my God, he's so handsome.
Yeah,
I said that. I looked at him. You aged well.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
it
He's
was
all
pretty
tan.
cool.
He looks
And
like
then
go
and
ahead.
then we're in our dressing room, and this woman comes in, and I'm
Yes.
unaware. I mean, she looks familiar, and I just want to make sure my dress, because the dressing rooms ended up being co-ed people, because everyone, Susan and us are going to be together, and they tried to take us to it first and said, Susan, you're in this one, and you guys are over there, and we said, what?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's going to happen. But then this woman comes in to straighten her dress out, and it's Jane Seymour. That's a big name. I didn't talk to her. Did anyone say anything? I didn't say anything.
You know what? I said hi, but I didn't know it was Jane Seymour. All I was thinking was, wow, this is one short gal. I mean, looks shorter than our own mom, who was 5'1".
Yeah, she
So it's
came in and out quick, and I'm going, wow, she looks familiar. And then, of course,
yeah,
somebody told me, I said, oh my God, it was
yeah.
her. And thank
Yeah, I
God,
know.
because I don't want to go up to someone and ask them if they're who they are. I don't,
Right.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Are you
Are you
who I
Morgan
think?
Fairchild?
Are you who I think? I did that to Morgan Fairchild. You know,
I know.
oh, is that where you? Oh, well, now I got to tell it real quick. So I'm on a New York
Good.
City street, and it's like in the '80s, and I don't know whatever that nighttime show she was on. It was real good, Knots Landing or something, anyway, something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it might be nothing.
I see Morgan Fairchild walking down the street, and I got some autographs that I'd gotten through my career. A little book I had that I lost, but I used to collect. Like if I'm on someone's show, I could just sign this. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
stopped her in the street, and I said, "Hey, Morgan." Do you mind people? This is too late for this question. Do you mind people stopping you in the street asking for an autograph? That's the question I asked her. And she said, no, not at all. And I got her autograph, and that was the end of that. We went our separate ways. But yeah, I never
That's
asked for
funny.
another autograph other than early in the day, I had this idea of, of an
Bob,
autograph book. Huh.
here's what happened with the autograph book because I remember when you did that. And just to let everybody know, this is, man, this is 80s, late 70s, 80s. And, we are involved in what we like to refer to as a comeback. And it seemed like it was really going to happen and things were happening, but it wasn't the right decade. But Bob had gotten a book because we were in it to win it, and we were never going to get back out of it. We were going to get out of it another two or three times and then come back. But this was how long ago this was. And he had a book, and he was going to ask everybody he met who was famous that, could I get your autograph and then have an incredible autograph book, in his 70s where we are now. So I remember that. That was
The only
funny.
guy that topped that who did do it was the bass player with the big beard in Jackson Brown and Linda Ronstadt's band, Sklar.
Oh,
Is that his
yes.
name? Sklar. I think that's his name. Anyway, you
Yeah.
all know who he is. And he wrote. I didn't get in his book, but I did do what he asked. But I wasn't famous enough to get in it. But every time he met a star, he asked them to take a picture and give the finger.
Oh, nice.
So his book's out, and everyone's giving the finger.
So
I said,
Leland Sklar has his own book out.
Leland Sklar. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes,
Oh, okay. Because
yes.
the documentary, the family, the documentary they've done is out. Because he's a
Ooh.
part of that Wadi, the five
Yes,
guys.
yes. The family.
Russ Kunkel.
I
Yeah,
forgot
the
their first
family.
name. The something family.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
remember either.
they're in a group together. You're right, Wadi. But Wadi's still with. We're talking about Wadi Wachtel, guitar player. He's still with Stevie Nicks. Because
Yes, yes.
he's
It's just they took. This is a documentary done by the guy who did the Wrecking Crew
oh, okay.
documentary,
All right.
Testararo. And these are just five guys, and it talks all about how Peter Asher made them famous because Peter was the first guy to put on these musicians who played for all of Peter's acts.
Oh,
So
right.
they were
Yeah.
finding themselves famous just by being announced what tracks, on the tracks of the Ron
Yeah.
Statt and Jackson Brown. So yeah, but they have a documentary out. I want to watch it.
That's cool because that's the second group. He was with Keith Richards of the Stones. Wadi was with him in a
Yeah,
group. The
yeah, they
something
speak of all
winos
that. Yeah,
or hangovers or something funny about drinking. But
yeah, yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
I want to make one more point about the California Hall of Fame.
yeah.
Uh, we feel bad we forgot our award. That was funny, but they'll
Oof,
get it. They'll mail it to us. We'll touch
yeah,
base with Captola about that because of the Irish. What is it called? Irish exit. What did you call it?
yeah. It's the Irish goodbye,
Irish goodbye. And what? Why
which
is
is
it an?
no.
Why is
It's
it an
just
Irish
Irish goodbye
goodbye?
means you're not going to say goodbye to anybody.
Okay. Well, that's what
It's
it
like
was.
a quick out.
And I kind of felt bad because everyone was saying goodbye to me on the way out, and I wasn't telling them I'm leaving. Um,
Yeah,
but they had
you were
moved us
saying,
up in the program.
yeah.
John had to get to the airport, and so that kind of triggered all of it. Okay, but I got to tell you,
And
it
Ronnie
was so
Dante, he
fun.
wanted to go too.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Ronnie Dante needed to get home, but it was so fun with Ron Dante there because we summer together. And we haven't got I happy together itinerary yet. I said, Ron, have you got an itinerary? He goes, you bet I did. I had a call for one for this summer. He says, I need to book flights because Ronnie, he does his own flights in and out of some of these cities.
Right. Oh,
And he knows which ones ahead of time. So he
oh,
doesn't want to get cut short. So And he
Oh,
sort of told me that they're going to hold it 50 cities. We're at 50, and he thinks it's a hard hold, he called it.
oh,
But he
okay.
said he thinks it's a hard hold. There's always 3 or 4 more that kind of come in, you know.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
have that odd one at the end at the Washington State Fair in the Northwest there,
Yeah,
September
yeah.
2nd. That's a whole different, it's the same show, you know,
Yeah.
but it's a
Is
whole
the
different
pay
arrangement.
different? Is
Yep.
the pay
Yep.
is different? Oh,
Yes, it
okay.
is. Yep. Yes, it is.
Because we have a
Yep.
lot more to.
And they accommodate that. The air is covered, the hotel's covered. It's good.
Right.
It's good. It's a one-off. It's called.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
what I
only
think
four
it
hours
means,
from my house.
yeah, you're up there. I think
Yeah.
it means why they did it for September 2nd was I do think the tour definitely does end probably late August, maybe the 27th or something. They're not going to fill in between the 7th and August and
I
September
don't think
2nd.
so.
So they took
Yeah,
the Washington State Fair one, I think, because of that. And that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
That's a September gig. We love it. We love it.
yeah.
And
Hey,
then Ron,
I wanted to mention one more thing though about the Hall of Fame. The whole opening of the show was done by, gosh, there had to have been 60 kids on that stage,
yeah,
and it was a
yeah.
full orchestra set up and dancers. And these were all kids like, from Schoolhouse Rock, meaning, they go like Eddie Burgetti and his kids were,
Hmm.
from a school where they learn, whatever it is they want to learn. And this was the night of them doing their show. So they were really excited, and I was excited for them, just knowing that, man, you could tell they were just excited to be doing it. And
And
they
they were
obviously
ready.
worked
They
hard.
were
They were
ready.
great. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There was this one little guy who was playing the bass saxophone, the baritone saxophone, and this saxophone, it's the real big long one, was as big as him. And man, he was blowing it. He
That's
was
that
doing great.
Beach Boy saxophone. They use that big guy.
Yeah, yeah,
And the two
exactly.
kids that Johnny Boy knew, Comer Mahoney and Michael Weber, who
Yes,
introduced us,
yes.
because they called us and said, "Hey, who do you want to induct you?" And I said, "Well, ask around who wants to do it. We'd like them to do it." I didn't want to
Right,
pick Ron because we were inducting Ron Dante for his Lifetime
right.
Achievement Award. So Johnny Boy comes up with Comer and Michael, and we're going, "Well, who are these guys?" And these guys were so cool. Everyone's going,
Yes.
"Who are those young guys? Who are those young guys?"
Yeah,
Because we're
yeah.
old, they're going to use that adjective. Who are those young guys hanging around you?
But who were they?
We'll have to ask John. All right, we'll
Oh,
get
okay.
John on for another episode. We'll chase that
Yeah,
down. I didn't have time to ask him, who are those guys, man? They were so
yeah,
cool who
yeah.
introduced us. And we met him and took pictures. It's like we spent the evening with them. But
Right,
it's not
right.
like we said, why are you here and how could you possibly know about the Cowsills? So
We didn't really care.
we didn't do that. Because when we say young people, these are young people. George,
Yeah.
here come the kids. It's Arianna, Harrison, and Johnny. These are Compass. There they are. Look at these kids.
Hi.
And
Hello.
we can
Oh,
hear
there you
them.
guys are.
We can hear them. This is
Yeah,
great.
nice.
How are you guys?
We are doing fine. It's great to see you three. We have
You
so many
too.
questions. We noticed your dad jumped right out of the picture.
Well, here he is.
Yeah,
He wants to say hi. My
that
mom
was my
too.
Hey
first
guys,
question.
Hey,
Hey, George,
George.
how you doing?
Hey, Mom.
thanks for having him on.
Yes,
I,
thank you
I
for
can't.
having us. It's an
Oh,
amazing
Oh,
experience.
we love
yeah,
you guys already. We've been watching you online and listening, and it's all terrific.
Thank
But
yeah,
you.
and it's nice to see your dad. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Just don't let him in the band, okay? Because I was watching you
Oh,
guys in that outside show, and he's jumping from the keyboard. He's got the headset, so he looks
oh
like he's
yes.
directing and producing and doing the sound. And now, hey, I'm in the band. Get rid of that guy. We had a mother, man. We wanted to get rid of our mom. So
Oh my gosh.
well,
no,
now
I'm just
listen.
joking. I'm
He's
joking.
Paul's kind of joking, except in a way, and we're going to interview you, but we'll let you know. When we had people come to us when we were your age, a little older, I was 15 or 16, Paul was like 13, but this is when they come to us and tell us that they're going to put our mother in our rock band.
Oh
Okay.
man.
So we laugh about it today because we're older, she's in heaven. But at the time, this was not a laughable issue. And we did not want our mother in our rock and roll band. And our dad was going to manage it. We wanted to get rid of him too, but he stayed too. But but after all we've been through with that, we are so glad to see your parents there watching
Yeah.
you guys. taking care of it, watching everyone around you, because it's a busy, busy, really crazy world in the music business. And I think you kids are decided you're going to look. We decided at your age you can make these decisions when you're young. It's okay. We did it, and we went for it. And it's a lot of hard work with a lot of performing and a lot of people involved. But you'll learn all about that. But we were real impressed that during COVID, you kids, you musician children, because I started guitar at 7, and I know Harrison, I think 10, right? 10's a good age. 7 was
Well,
too
but
young. I was just hitting it with a hand.
yeah, but listen, so if they did this, so you guys, you started in COVID. So Johnny, if you're 11 now, what were you, 7? I mean, tell us about that and how, because just tell us a little bit about what got you going in COVID and when you looked at each other and went, man, let's form a band. I mean, were you taking music lessons or tell us a little bit about that?
Like back then, I was, around 7. We just kind of, I remember we were like outside, we were just saying, you know what, let's just make a band. So then we did. And then that night we were playing just some random stuff. Yeah. And then we finally got something to go.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And it was definitely a really good way to pass the time. Because, we were locked up in our house for so long, as everybody was. And, we just got so much support from the people around us, and especially our parents. And, we were doing little Facebook live streams, and all of our family and friends loved watching us during COVID. So it was a lot of fun.
Hey, Harrison, so I noticed you use capos. I need to know, are you trained as a musician? Can you read and write music?
So I will say guitar is not my only instrument. I play piano as well, and then trumpet and concert band. I'm in band. I'm the only one out of the 3 in the band aspect because I play trumpet. But I know how, it's weird. I know how to read music and, like sight read music with trumpet and all this stuff. It's fine. It's super easy for me. But as soon as I start reading notation for guitar, it's like I lock up. It
gets in your way. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's because I self-taught myself. And I just started out learning any song I wanted to. I learned a lot of AC/DC songs, those.
Yeah,
you're shredding. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. They had super easy songs, but they were just so fun to play. And I remember me and Johnny, we would go down, we would play Back in Black or Shoot to Thrill or something like that.
Just like the easiest songs to play.
And we would just jam on it. It was a lot of fun.
Arianna, if you know violin, you had to learn to read and write music, or read music, right?
Yeah, so I've been playing violin since I was 5 years old. And so I can sight read on the violin. And I've been in the Canton Advanced Orchestra for 2 years. This is my 2nd year in the Advanced Orchestra, but I've been with that program for almost 10 years now. So yeah, I could sight read music. I like writing. I used to write more for violin, but mostly when I play bass, I just do it from ear and practicing. I can't read music very well on the bass, kind of similar to Harrison, but I still find it really interesting and fun. And a lot of the same concepts transfer over from violin to bass. So
yeah, I will say though, I am a part of the top jazz band at my high school. And I play guitar in that jazz band. I've been studying jazz, actually. It's kind of an interesting way of studying guitar, but I started learning jazz because I knew that's where I would find the most value for my specific playing style, I feel like. And I started studying jazz and I started learning about chord structure and stuff. So I can read chords. I don't have to read tabs. I don't really read tabs anymore. That's not my thing. I read chords and then I read rhythm, like / notation. But
that's more than us.
I can't read a note of music on this.
Here's how we grew up. You put the lyrics and then you put the chord above the word where you change. That's how we learned everything. Hey, Johnny, quick, coming into the pandemic, did you own a drum set?
Yes, but it was a very unprofessional, like it was tiny, and it was like it would get me through it, but
was it the set you're playing on Landslide in the video? that wasn't much of a set. You're tapping on
Oh, that was a practice pad.
Oh, that was practice pad. Okay.
So, yeah.
Because most parents don't want a drummer in the house. Okay. But apparently you guys balance each other out.
Do your parents have a musical background? I know I see your dad playing, I get that, but do you think that your musical abilities, because obviously you're young and you have great talent, is that from mom and dad?
For sure. I think that both of my parents are very talented in the music aspect. My mom was in show choir when she was younger. And so she definitely has, and dance and everything. So she has all of that rhythm. And I think we all got those traits. And my dad was also in band and had a band when he was in college. But then even going past that, like we have past relatives who, have played violin and piano.
Okay.
So it runs in the family.
So how do you decide what your sound is going to be? I mean, I see your quotes. You did what we did. You take the old songs, you learn them to learn something. You got to learn something. But look where you picked to learn. I mean, John Mayer and Taylor Swift, and then you go into Fleetwood Mac, and I'm sure you know the Beatles and stuff and all of it. It's like your quote here. I love this quote. You guys are very mature. Harrison, you say, I think it's really interesting because all the modern music that's been done before is where the root of music comes from, the past. And then Arianna said, I think it's important to recognize where music has come from in order to make new music. Let me tell you something. Me and Paul, we never said anything like that in our whole life as a young artist, okay? Not even close. We were just saying, they'd say, sign this contract. And we go, why? And they'd say, because then you can record. And we go, oh, okay. This is advanced thinking. It's going to serve you well because it's the truth. It's the truth. And we lived it. We just couldn't put it into words like you did. We learned all those old songs. And then you start writing and it filters into your sound and your songs. So who wrote and when did you write the first song?
Our first song that we wrote was during the pandemic, and it was a song called Only Care About You. We wrote two songs around that time, and one was called Only Care About You, and the other one was called Freedom 21, which we named that because obviously the pandemic started in 2020, but by 2021, we were ready to be out. Obviously, we know that didn't happen, but we were ready to be free. And so that song is called Freedom 21 because it was released in 2021 and we were ready to be out back in the world. So we definitely take a lot of our inspiration from like all the artists that you see us playing covers of, especially, John Mayer, Fleetwood Mac. I think we love to take inspiration, but we also love playing around with different styles and different sounds. So yeah, I think, and also writing all of our music is really a group effort. I mean, a lot of times it can just stem from a full chord progression that Harrison makes, and then I can write a song from it, or a drum beat that Johnny will come up with and Harrison will put some guitar to it. And then randomly a couple months later, I have lyrics and they match up. So we definitely like to work on the songwriting.
That sounds very familiar because during the pandemic, just before it, we were on tour together in the summer, and my sister Susan and my brother Paul there and myself did the same thing, where I would come up with a melody and Paul could, or he'll have a lyric and it leads to a melody. So you're on the right track there. How was your very, very first public performance? How did that go? Were you nervous? Had you done it? Tell me about it. Tell us about it. Tell the world about it.
So,
Point to you, Johnny.
So for us, it was our school's talent show, and at the time, this was still during the pandemic, and I was 7 or 8, so it was kind of nerve-wracking for me. So I think we were the last part, and then we just went out there, and we played Freedom 21 and Only Care, because those were our only songs. And I remember we rocked it.
It was so much fun, really. Like, I remember coming off of that stage and just telling my friends and family, I want to get back up there and do it again. It was really nerve-wracking the first time, but I'm glad we got to experience that.
It's interesting because we did this. We were inducted into the California Hall of Fame this past couple of days, but on that show, Oh, thanks. But at that show, and the opening acts were a bunch of kids, okay, and it was like the House of Rock. They all were going to school, and they're all in their different departments, and they were able to come together, and you could see the joy. So like when you just were talking about that, Ariana. I understand what you're saying. You come off stage and you go, "Holy moly, man! I need more of that." And that's that energy and the excitement. And when I see people playing, and especially young people, I'm hoping that they're feeling like you felt, Ariana, on that day, because that's why we all do it. You guys, I hope you do it for a long time. I do want to get into that a little bit later. But, if you guys are sitting like me, Bob's 75 or 4, I'm 72 or 3, and Susan is 65, and we're still doing it. And it's 2 brothers and a sister. We do have another brother, John. But, we are just so grateful to be doing it. And we still get that feeling, although we're in our 70s, and your parents will tell you this probably when you're in your 40s and 50s, you kids never grew up. Well, that's because that's what music and that feeling, Ariana, makes you want to stay with that feeling all the time. And so you'll never grow up, and so tell your parents to relax and don't worry about that.
But listen, I thought it was a bold decision in your talent show to perform 2 original songs rather than a cover song the audience would be familiar with. That was taking a big step there. I'm quite impressed with that. I don't think we would have done. I don't think we would have done that. But did you talk about that? Should we do an original? Should we do a cover? How did that come about?
I think I remember during that time we were practicing a lot of covers and we were also working on those originals, but it was important to us to really put ourselves out there because it was our first show. We wanted to make a really good impression. And so we wanted to put the work that we had worked so hard towards and, spent hours working on in the weeks upcoming, the show. We wanted to put our best foot forward. And so doing those 2 original songs is kind of like a power move. And it was really fun.
Very impressed. Very impressed. Now, Paul, can I just do some Cowsill and Compass factoids that kind of align? Okay.
Yes.
Obviously, 2 brothers and a sister in Compass, 2 brothers and a sister in the Cowsills. And our brother John's around too. He was a Beach Boy for 23 years. Our younger brother John started playing drums at age 7. Whoa, that's a big one. So we got that. We were a family band that our first television show was, we came out of Canton, Ohio, and our first TV show was in Cleveland. It was an old TV show called Spotlight on Talent, I think, with Gene somebody. It was a competition.
That time, yeah.
My brother Bill and I were on that show. We sang a song. It was a competition like your school competition. We lost to a clown. Okay. So that hurt. I'm in the 6th grade and I'm like crushed and embarrassed because, when you're on TV and you're in the 6th grade, you tell everybody in the school you're going on TV, right? And it's a competition. And I'm a knucklehead, I'm saying, yeah, we're going to win. We're going to win. We didn't win anything. I got the guy behind me in class the next day, hit me on the back. Hey, Cowsill, sorry you lost, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of similarities between not just being a family band, just other things about when we heard from you and heard about you. I said, boy, this is sounding familiar.
Well, it's funny though. So Susan is the youngest. Okay. So when I was watching you guys in the whole thing, Arianna, you're the top dog, and so and Johnny, you're the bottom dog. And it's just interesting. I wish I was in your band and to feel what it feels like to have the gal in charge as opposed to the guy in charge, So
we had so many brothers, and now Susan came last. And so it's like she comes into the band at age 7. Like, well, I mean, Johnny started at 7. It can happen. I started playing guitar at 7. It can happen.
Yeah. So, guys, I've got a question for you, and the question is: so you started in COVID, so that's been a few years now. So you've had a few years to dig in a little bit. Is this something that you guys think you're going to want to pursue? I mean, Arianna, you're going to be going to college. I mean, Harrison, you'll be in high school, and it's going to be tougher and tougher to stay together and to keep it together. Is this something you guys think I know you've said, hey, we're just going to go where the wind takes us, and that's cool. But have you thought about like, hey, this is something that, because once you want to be serious, you're writing original tunes, it seems you're serious, then you got to be all in on that, right? Or so what are you thinking there?
I think that it's going to be my senior year next year, and so we actually have quite a few shows lined up that we're going to be playing, and we're releasing our upcoming EP in the next about month. And one of our big goals before I graduate high school is to release a full album. And so right now, that is a big goal of ours. We recently got asked to play at our local fair, the Jackson Community Celebration. So we're going to be playing there, which is a big deal for us. And we got to play at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a couple weeks ago at the high school rock off 2 times, actually. So that was amazing.
We're going to hear about that. Yeah.
I want to hear about that.
That was amazing. It was a great experience. But really, honestly, we're having a great time doing it right now. And another one of our big goals is to get our actually 4th sibling involved. We're trying to get him to come over here. We have
there was a 4th. We read that.
Yeah.
Constantine is 8.
Hi, Constantine.
And he plays piano. He's taking piano lessons right now. So if you look at our logo, it says AHJC. This is
I do.
Constantine.
Wow, so that looked like Johnny when he was little.
Yeah, he reminds us of our brother John. Now you look like us, young.
Yeah. But he looks like Johnny.
Yeah.
I know.
Our Johnny, their Johnny.
So at this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame night, because we just did the California Music Hall of Fame, okay? It was chaos. It was utter chaos. And we just held it together. You got in that everything's disorganized a little. There's many groups, many people going in. We're up against not just us. There's a lot going on. What was the atmosphere of your night?
Yeah, I think it was at least for me, I wasn't all that nervous. I was just excited to get to play in the Rock Hall. I think
I was nervous.
I think there was some nerves to it, but like a lot of it was, oh wow, I get to play at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like that's insane. When you really think about that, it kind of takes away a lot of the nerves. But the atmosphere, I would say it was a little bit. I don't want to say it was like stressful because I don't think it was, but
I think it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a competition. Let's be serious. I mean, everyone was super nice, but when it came down to it, definitely there was some tension by the last night. So
yeah. But I will say after we played, it was we all were like looking at each other backstage. We're like, oh my gosh, that was insane.
So you felt good about it. You felt good about it.
It was so fun.
You said something interesting, Harrison. You said, and then when I realized, I'm playing in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I calmed down. You said something like that just a minute ago. There are so many musicians that would say, and then I realized I was playing in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I freaked out, and I left the building, and I never returned. I mean, that was an interesting reaction you had that it calmed you down. But yeah, Paul's right. Even we go on this summer tour every summer. We got 50 cities this summer coming at us, and it's not nerves. I'll call it butterflies. Okay, I get butterflies even before big shows. I'll have that butterfly. Somebody said it. Yeah, once you step on stage and 1, 2, 3, 4, the song starts. The butterflies are gone. Everything's gone. You're doing what you do. And of course, we have the professionals, and you're going to be young professionals. You do that. You felt that feeling of the nervousness, and then you get going. Well, this wasn't so bad, and then you're done. That was pretty good. It's a whole process.
Yeah.
And I feel like before the Rock Hall, we were performing, and it sounded great, but I feel like at least for me, I suddenly had a realization, like I gotta step it up a notch because I'm being judged. Like the performance was a huge thing for us because we didn't perform our music before. We played our music, but we didn't perform it. So now that I understand that music isn't just playing music, like live music, it's performing it. It's like a whole different ballpark. And I feel like, at least for me, it completely changes the way I've even played guitar. Actually, it's changed the way I play in front of people. It's hard to, stick to music for that emotion. I guess it's a different, a different way to, I guess, I don't know, project that emotion. It's very interesting, and I can talk about it.
Yeah.
I got a question. Oh, and I did want to first, though, say sorry. We're not at our homes where we usually do our podcast from, and usually we're out in space, and it looks really cool. Because I was just noticing you guys are in a pretty bitchin' room yourselves, and you guys are looking good. Me and Bob look like we're at the laundromat. But usually we have a whole bunch of sky, and we're out in the cosmos and all that. But here's my question for you, and I've been noticing this. So Harrison and Johnny, do you guys sing?
Ooh, that's an interesting
Touchy
question.
subject.
So here's the deal. Here's the deal. So we've been in desperate need of a backup singer, and we were thinking if Constantine can learn how to play the piano soon enough and get good at that, because he's got a great voice. I mean, the kids. I mean, of course, when he sings, he's not super serious, but like naturally, he's got pitch, he's got rhythm. He's got great, like, natural skill. And I feel like that comes from our parents, as we talked about before. But
Right.
I mean, if he learns how to play piano and sing, that would be amazing.
I need some backup.
No, yeah. So. Personally, I'm learning how to sing. So, like, I'm still, like, a beginner. It's one of those things where, I'm still a beginner until I'm not. So, yeah.
Well, let me say one thing. We'll get to that because apparently you all can carry the melody. Is that right? Okay, if you can carry the melody, you can sing. This is our Arianna. This is our sister Susan. Hi, Susan.
Hi, guys.
She made it. This is Harrison, Arianna, and Johnny, that's their drummer who started drumming at the age of 7, John.
Oh my gosh.
And Constantine is the future keyboard player and harmonizer in the band. And and that's full strength compass right there.
And I just want to I want to let Compass know that Susan was born in Canton, Ohio.
Really? Wow.
Nope.
First of all, I want to say hi, you guys.
Hi.
I think you're amazing. And I like to ask some questions about your early childhood.
Sounds good.
Okay. So let's start with you, Arianna. Like, did you know right away you wanted to do music? Did you ever want to be a school teacher or a veterinarian? And was it your folks that kind of brought music into your life?
I definitely had a lot of good influence when I was growing up. Like my family, at every family gathering, there would be music playing, and I'm a big Greek family, so there's always Greek music playing, and bands, instruments here and there. Everyone would bring guitars and little drums and everything, so there was always going to be music playing. And then I picked up violin when I was 5 years old.
I see.
So I've been around music my whole life for sure.
Okay, so it really is what you knew you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Okay, what about you guys?
As a career, but for sure, I love doing it. It's one of my biggest hobbies.
Oh, okay. So do you have any other aspirations aside music?
Yeah.
I'm actually graduating from high school next year, so I want to go to college. I want to get into a direct entry nursing program. So.
Oh, very good. So obviously you guys are brought up in a musical family. Do either of you have something else other than music that you would like to do also?
For me, I'm really, really into sports. So I really like to play sports for fun.
Okay.
Kind of it.
That's kind of it. All right, Harrison.
I think I might want to stay with music because I feel like I have a lot of talent, and I feel like it's good that they're doing their own thing and they're doing what they love. But I feel like my passion, like my actual passion, like what I want to do is
That's
music.
what I'm asking. Mhm.
Yeah. So whether that be music teacher, sound engineering, because my dad's been teaching me all about sound engineering every time I, talk to him. He's always telling me all about the plugins and stuff. So
Cool.
yeah, but I want music to be a part of my life somehow. And I want to continue playing guitar. I feel like my biggest fear for the future is not being able to keep up with or like balancing out work and guitar or music in general, because
Absolutely.
Like I feel like I'm too naturally talented to like skimp out on it. So yeah.
You'll work it out then, dude.
George, can we ask you a question? We're just curious. Hi, George. George's dad, okay, dad. Now, here's what happened with us when we were your age. Our dad sat us around a table at your age. Okay, I was 14 and Susan was 4, so she's not at the table yet.
I don't count right now.
And he asked us, "Do you kids want to go for this?" And we all raised our hand. Yes. And all our dad had to do was, from that point forward, was go find a record company, because that's all you needed. Back then, if you had a record company, they had everything that you needed, and you had what they wanted, which is your talent, your songs, and your gift of performing. And it was a great relationship, and it was very simple. Today, it is not that. The record companies are gone. You're on your own. So, George, we're just curious, how do you approach this in terms of knowing how much is expected of your kids, yourself, your band? Look at your online presence is already, and forget the numbers, forget the math. You're there. You got to hang the shingle. You got to show people it's us. Here's our music. We never had to do that ever. Yeah. So are you involved in that, George, or is it to that level yet where somebody's doing something up online with the kids?
Yeah, I think that's great that you said that, Bob. And I don't have to tell you guys how different the industry is now. You have this tremendous history and top 10 hits, and have created this tremendous career, which for new artists, I think is a lot more difficult nowadays. Nowadays,
most definitely.
Yeah, you got to pop on TikTok or Instagram, and you almost have to create your own audience before anyone else wants to come then and offer you anything. In this day and age. And I think for this reason, I think that's why I give a lot of credit to the kids. Yes, they have talent. I certainly can see it and hear it in their music.
Obviously.
I really appreciate the fact that they write, because I think that really,
yes,
there's a lot of better musicians out there, but their unique ability to put, a melody together and a song together is really, really special. And I think
it most definitely is, George, most definitely at their age, for sure. At y'all's age. Yes.
Yeah. So yes, I do, help them out. As Harrison said, we've recorded, all of their songs have been recorded here at home. And I've fumbled through and learned, some music production. And while it's not professional by any means, it's getting the point across, and we're getting better and better. And I think this EP is going to be
that's a good move.
The first capstone. Yeah. And then, of course, just building the online presence and like Arianna said, see what happens at this point in time, But I think they're pretty, aware of the fact that you're not going to expect anything to really go crazy, So in the end, have songs that you like to play and that are enjoyable and can touch people in a positive way. And if you can do that, that's great.
I think that's fantastic. And kids, remember,
you're killing me.
If you will be, if you get the passion like Harrison already has, and everyone could get it, okay, as you get along, okay, you're going to realize that that's going to help you, because even we had the passion, we did, we kind of did know we wanted to do that. We did it all through grade school and high school, right? But understand,
right?
Yeah, we had a hit record. Our first million seller, #1, Now I'm Famous, was, I just graduated high school, and there it was. But in high school, we were dropped from 2 record labels. we put out 3 songs that just tanked. No one paid attention. No one liked it. So you always stay feeling strong about yourself. And it's not that they're wrong and you're right. It could be a timing thing. That equation's real long of why something might not go at that time, but you don't give up. And you'll hear people say, "Oh, I'm just looking for a yes. I'm just looking for a yes." That's true. It might need 3 of them, and those are hard.
You have you have parents who are communicating with you and guiding you through all this and talking to you about other things. Like, you can invest everything right now in this. You have very long lives. You can do a million different things throughout your entire life. You can stick with it. Harrison clearly plans on somehow implementing music into his life, but you guys can put everything you have into this and know that there's more to come. So it's like you're free. And I didn't have that awareness when I was in my band as a kid. I just thought this was what it was, and everybody did this.
Well, you were born, Susan was born into it, you know.
I was born into it, and nobody really explained it to me. Because if somebody had asked me in a podcast when I was 9 if I had any other thing I wanted to do, I would have told them, yeah, I got a lot of things I want to do, but I also want to do this. So I love talking to young musicians. It tickles me.
Are you familiar with Rick Rubin, the producer?
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah. So he's had some really great comments about music and art, which is, and this, I take this to heart, and we've talked about it with the kids, which is, create the music for yourself. If you start creating music for others, it's going to be inauthentic and it's going to show.
That's right.
I think when you listen to Compass and the songs that they have, the lyrics that Arianna mostly wrote, the guitar, parts that Harrison mostly comes up with, and Johnny, the drum parts that he comes up with, it's who they are,
Yeah.
Sometimes the concepts are kind of heavy, but, these kids are insightful kids, and so long as they do that, that's great. And if others enjoy it, great. If others don't, that's okay. They're having fun doing it.
Here's the good news, though. The good news is that the ones who do enjoy it, there's so much content and opportunity out there. The ones that do enjoy it, that can be a big enough group to move this whole thing.
Yeah.
Forget the ones that don't enjoy it. They're going to go enjoy something else.
The only thing I feel that could break through industry mainstream is authenticity. We did it because we just were being us. We weren't trying to be anything. We were just these knee-jerk music kids. Yep. And when I always tell my young people, if you're doing this to be famous, don't do it. It's just not what this is about. And we had so many things from the Disney kids and my daughter's 30, okay, and she can sing and dance, she can do everything, and it's ironic because she wanted to be famous. I was like, she wanted to be like Miley, and it's like, no, go back to what you're doing, kid. It's like, you guys are born into a musical form, and you're going to ride it out authentically because you can't help it. Your dad is right. Don't pay attention to that other stuff because it'll cut you short for sure. You're already the real thing. Art is what it's originally about, guys. So you're on it.
You're doing it together. Okay. Your brothers and your sister and Constantine's right on your hoofs.
Yeah.
And you'll always have that. Look, we were famous for like 3 years. Okay. And we've lived another 50 years. We're still playing those same songs in our 70s, but the only reason we're doing it is because we love to do it and that we're family and we're siblings. The reason we did this podcast was so we could see each other and talk to each other every week. I mean, that's how this thing got going, and now we really love doing it. So you guys are always going to have that. No matter, success is only what's in your heart, and you guys you're already successful because look at, you're doing it together. I mean, that's kind of how I know we feel, is that we are so grateful we have each other, and you guys have each other, and that's worth any million seller. Even though
I'll tell you one thing. You played the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and we've never played it. So, I mean, those are big moments. They're big moments. They are.
You guys are cooler than us.
Yeah. This is why we did a podcast. The same reason you started your band, right? Creative people sitting around with time create. Of course.
And we mixed an album. We mixed an album.
We mixed the whole album that we'd recorded. I love hearing the comments. You're playing in the house, and all of a sudden, like your mom's going, that sounds pretty good. That's how it happened with us. Our parents did not make us form a band. Okay. We did it. And,
No.
and we practiced, and we it just gave us, we had the passion. By the time I'm in the 10th grade, and like Paul's in the 8th, and we're young, but the parents, they sound pretty good. And then we started playing out live, which is what you're doing. Of course, you play live.
I would like to know, where do you guys play? What kind of venues does Compass play?
So we've played so far. Obviously, our first show was almost going on 4 or 5 years ago, which is crazy.
Wow.
But
they're veterans.
yes, that was at our school talent show. I was in 8th grade at that point, so it's crazy. It's been that long. And then after that, we didn't play out until this past year, at the end of the summer.
Okay.
So it was a while, but we played at Akron's Porch Rocker Music Festival, so that was super fun.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Right.
And then we played the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, and we played some events at our school, and now we're playing at the Jackson Amphitheater. And we also have First Friday in downtown Canton. We're playing at an ice cream shop, so that's super.
Where'd you go, girl?
It's
So these, all right, anywhere and everywhere. Then.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere. We just like playing out. So
okay, that's my next question. So do you prefer recording or playing live?
I mean, personally, why we started this band was to create music and to get it out there for people. So I really like performing live, but I also love just, sitting down and writing music.
Yeah.
Okay, Harrison?
I gotta say, I think both are really enjoyable for me because I feel like every time you step on stage, it's a different experience, and it's a different, it's a different way of playing. You play it different every time. I feel like, and at least for me. But also, I love the feeling of being able to, like, when you're in the zone and you just know, oh, this is a good idea. I'm gonna keep going down this rabbit hole. I'm just gonna keep playing until I find something. I love that feeling. And actually, I do it a lot. And it's like my parents are like looking at me. They're like, you do it all the time. I stay up at night, like, because I have an idea. And I'm like, oh, this would be cool. So I grab my acoustic.
Oh my gosh.
I just play. And they're like, oh my gosh, just go to bed, But
go to bed.
We had that in our house.
Oh yeah, no, it's
all right, Johnny.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Harrison. Go ahead, finish up, bud.
No, I was just gonna say I think I enjoy creating music as well. Writing music. Yeah.
I personally like to play out in public more because it's just that feeling of pure enjoyment when you're in the zone and everybody's grooving along to you.
Yeah.
And that's just like that's a really good feeling. And you like to see when you're playing and you like to see other people smiling and it feels like you did that.
That's my favorite thing too, Johnny.
You guys are okay.
That is absolutely.
The music industry has not destroyed you yet. That's good. No, it won't. It won't.
How do your friends feel about your music?
They love it.
Your friends that don't do music, how do they feel?
I think at first, at least my friend group definitely thought that they were like, oh, like, okay, it's not like, it's not nothing serious. But then I told them like, oh, guys, we're playing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, like, it's actually a real thing. Like, it's not. Just
Say no more.
Okay. Okay. All right. I got it. Okay, cool. Thanks. That tells me everything.
So that video when you're driving the car, a very cool video and a very cool song. Was that one of your originals or?
Yes, it was.
Oh, cool!
Wow,
I love that video. It was
you
cool.
guys are it's so good. You got so hip to the fact that you have to get online and be present. It's amazing. We talk about it sometimes. We had nothing. All we could do is practice in our living room. And believe it or not, we played at a club in Newport, Rhode Island, while I was in the 11th and 12th grade, 4 hours a night, Thursday and Friday nights, playing Beatles songs. Okay. That was insane. But like you guys think, we didn't think it was. It was a blast. And
Yeah.
all my friends, they didn't know what I was up to because back then there's no internet, there's no online, there's no social media,
Right.
there's no phone machines. Hey, I called you. You didn't answer. Oh, I wasn't home. That's the end of that discussion. And that's how it was. That's how it was back then.
It's funny because, somebody mentioned to us, hey, you guys should do a podcast. And me and Bob, we heard the word podcast and we're going, well, does that mean like a blog or what the heck are we talking about here?
But I am 10 years younger than these guys, and I knew what it was.
And we're glad we did it.
Yeah, just like you in the pandemic, we're sitting around twiddling our thumbs and say, all right, podcast, let's do it. And 2.5, here we are with you. We find the family band in Canton, Ohio. I mean, it's amazing to us. We love it.
I'm sure these guys have to get back to rehearsing. We had to rehearse 3 hours a day, every day of our lives, you guys.
All right. That was a little.
Yes, absolutely.
But we did a lot.
I want to know what's next.
Yeah, what's the next business plan and the business model?
As we mentioned a little earlier, we are releasing our EP in the next month, and it's going to be featuring our new single, Stay a While. And we also have a music video for that coming out as well with the EP, which is super exciting. It's first super big music video that we've put a lot of time and effort into doing. And then we hope to release an album by the end of next year.
Okay. I hope you appreciate the fact that you can make a video, that you can make a recording at your home that sounds awesome. The technology you have today really does help you in terms of your content and what you can put up there online. Like I said, there was no online when we were kids. You didn't walk around putting anything up. You went out and played live.
And it sounds to me like Arianna wants to get all this done before she graduates from high school. So you guys got to get on it.
Exactly. We're having so much fun doing it. So
yeah.
Well, listen, we want everyone. Now tell us where they find you. What's your address? How do people find Compass?
That's what I wanted to say.
Online easily and get them to it.
So our Instagram is at @Compass_AHJC. I'm sure my dad will email everything to you, but
we have it. We're telling the people, the listeners and the viewers.
So yeah, that's our Instagram. So you can find us at @Compass_AHJC. And then on Spotify, you can look up all capital Compass and you'll probably find a profile picture of us 3 on the beach. I'm wearing a blue dress that I made in that. So you'll definitely be able to see it. Okay. And then
cool.
What else?
YouTube.
Facebook. Yes, YouTube. That's also the same. It's the same handle, the Compass_AH.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
we're on Apple Music. We're on.
Yeah, you're on Spotify. Yeah.
Yep. All streaming services. So you can definitely find us anywhere.
Listen to that. I love it. That is great. Well, you guys have been great. George, and we never met your mom. But hi, Mom, again. And
hi, Mom.
What's Mom's name?
Tanya.
Tanya, hi, guys. Listen, you're musicians, you two parents. We're looking at a nice 5-some here. We get Constantine in there. I don't know. It's up to you guys. We really did enjoy having our mom in our band. We make jokes about it, okay? But you guys need to know that our mom did a great job because she came in later. We were the kind of talented ones. She was the marginal singer that we got singing from, and she stepped up to the plate. I don't know how old she was, in her 30s or whatever, and she did great. So we joke about her. No, we didn't want her in the band at first. We were teenagers, and we're not going to deny that. But she did a good job. But it's nice to meet your family and all of you there. And where's Constantine? Is he there? Get him.
Oh, he's upstairs.
He's that guy, that typical keyboard player. All right, that's okay. But thank you for visiting with all of us and our people.
Yeah.
We're downloaded in 23 countries. So other people will see you. You know how it is. You just got to get out there. And that's what you do.
We really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
That's what
we love you guys. We love everything you're doing.
I just want to say one word: baklava.
Now listen, This
Good
summer,
one, Polly.
our Happy Together tour is coming to Ohio.
That
We
was
come
good.
every summer. I'm going to get in touch with your dad, let you know when we're
Come
going to be
see
around.
us.
If we're close enough, you know, we want to meet you.
Come.
Maybe come to the show.
Yeah, totally, of course.
Yeah, Canton, Ohio, family band. I love it. And
Love it.
thank you all. You're wonderful, and thanks
Thank
for
you
being on
guys. Thank
our
you,
episode.
Compass.
Have such a
Everyone-
nice day.
Everyone is dismissed.
Let's
Bye.
dismiss.
Thank you.
Bye, buddies.